Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, let us thank one of our admin who helped us with this translation. The message, it reads like this. Brother Nashi, before people say that this woman is evil, before you close your heart, before you switch off, I need them to first understand who I was before everything collapsed and joined Satanism. Before I was the woman that I am right now, I feel like I am a monster who kills all of her husbands that she gets married to. I am dating what they call a Ben-10. He is a man that is 20 years younger than I am. I am praying to God that he is not going to mess up by dating women, or should I say girls of his own age. He is only aged 21 years old. He is studying at University of Joburg, and if he ever messes up, I'll be left with no choice. He will join the queue. I have killed all of my husbands, and he is going to be the fourth one that I'm going to kill. Before all of this, what really surprises me is how I quickly fell into Satanism. I was not a desperate woman. I was not poor. I was not stranded in life. I am a well-learned woman. Both of my parents, they were university lecturers. My dad fled the DRC and came to South Africa, got married to my mom, and I was an established South African woman. By the early 2000s, me and my husband, we had already built our small company. We were registered as a transporter, a vendor working with Transnet. I did subcontracting work. We understood logistics, paperwork, timing, negotiations. We were never flashy in our life, just like we had been taught by my dad never to be flashy in life, to build an empire. I was consistent. We did not make millions, but we made real good money. We were living a comfortable life. We were wealthy, living in the middle class bracket. We lived comfortably, a decent house, reliable car, help at home, and we were working really nice. And my husband, he was someone that was trustworthy. Maybe I trusted him too much. And the man that I trusted with my life was the man that I got married to. My husband was not lazy. He was not abusive, not poor. He also came from a middle class family, and he never even hurt me even once. He was a disciplined man, a Christian, and I was prideful of the life that we had. But all of a sudden, he had a weakness and he never tried to correct his mistakes. He fell in love with a woman. I did not catch him dramatically. There was no lipstick. There was nothing. And I started to notice that my husband, all of a sudden, he was distant. He did not touch me. When I would touch him, he would avoid me. And eventually, I learned the truth. He had reconnected with a woman from his past. He was someone that he had once dated, and he decided to bring back into his life while List was still very much his wife. What hurt me was not only the betrayal, but whenever I would ask him about this affair that he was having with this woman, my husband will plainly refuse, and he would lie straight into my face and he would tell me that I was imagining things that were not even there, or I was now imagining things. That was what he was telling me, and I should have expected that this is what a man will do once you think that you are happily married. Why I did not leave? Many people will ask, why didn't you just walk away? Because African marriages, they are not that simple. We had invested a lot into this marriage. Both of us, we had started from the ground going up. We had kids, and because I had invested years, we had built a business together. Walking away, it felt like I was erasing our own history. I did not fight him. I did not scream. I did not even insult the other woman. Instead, I internalized everything. And when I did this, my husband and his girlfriend, they thought that maybe I was too stupid. I did not know what I was doing, but I wanted to give my husband a chance to dump that woman that he had brought into our lives. I wanted him to make a decision without me ever forcing him to make that decision. But my husband, I'm sure that in his mind, he said that you are a fool to allow me to continue dating this woman. And he continued sleeping around with that woman. As for that woman, since she now knew and she thought that maybe she had a better chance of making me to leave my home, what she did not know was that this company that we were operating, this company, it was under my name, and my father was the one that had used his own business connections so that I can get my first few contracts and being a registered vendor for Transnet. All of those things, it was me, it was my name. The company, my husband, he was not even a director, and he made a mistake by refusing to become a director of the company, because when we opened this company, this was before he had started cheating. So when he started cheating, that was when he started to tell me that he wanted me to add him as the director so that we can have a 50-50% ownership. And since I now knew that there was another woman in the picture, I then said that I'm not going to do that to share my wealth with another woman. I am never going to do such a thing. So my husband then started fighting with me, and he was hurting me, abusing me emotionally, and I thought that it was far much better for me to search for help. I did not go looking to hurt anyone. I never knew that I was going to end up joining Satanism. If I had known that I would end up joining Satanism, I was never going to agree to do such a thing. I want people to understand this. I wanted my husband back emotionally, back with me spiritually and mentally, so that we can start afresh. My husband will spend 2 days each and every week with me. The rest of the days he will be with his girlfriend, and I wanted him back. I wanted him to choose me over the girlfriend again. That was when I found myself in front of a sangoma that I had been referred to by someone that I trusted deeply. This was a long distant relative of my father, and when my parents found out that this was what was happening, then I was assisted by that person to bring back my lost love. Just by binding, it was a spiritual binding. What was done was that I was told to buy 2 wooden dolls, and I bought these wooden dolls, and after I had bought them, then that healer, what he did was that the other wooden doll was facing to the right, the other one was facing to the left, with their backs against each other, and in between, the healer then put some thorns and tied those 2 wooden dolls together so that my husband and his girlfriend, they will never be in good books with each other again. And then there was another set of dolls that were made to face each other, and they were tied with barbed wire. This meant that my husband, if he tried to leave me, then he will feel so much pain in his heart, as if his heart was tied around with a barbed wire. And what I did not know was that what I was doing, I was now inviting demonic forces into my life. When the other woman fell sick, it did not happen immediately. That is why I did not even connect the dots at first. Months later, I heard that the woman had fallen ill, not a car accident, not violence. It was just sickness that worsened quickly. She passed away. When the news reached me, my body went cold. I wanted to celebrate, but I just felt as if I was the one that had caused everything. I felt as if I was the one who was to be blamed. I could not even celebrate that this woman who once told me that I was an old woman and I was unable to please my husband anymore, giving him the sex positions that she used to give him. I felt that there was someone that entered into my kitchen the day when I received the news that this woman had passed away. That was when the haunting began. The dreams, they came first. A woman standing in the corner of my house. In each and every room that I would find myself in, I would see a woman wearing black clothes standing in the corner. And this woman, what surprised me, what was so surprising about her, was that she had no face. And when she spoke as if it was a lot of people that was talking all at once. And I started to hear sounds in my house. I would hear someone that would be walking in the passage whilst I would be resting in the bedroom. Even when I am in the dining, I would hear that there is someone that is walking around in the kitchen. And when I would go to the kitchen, I would not see anyone. But there were times when it will be raining, I would see that there is mud on the floor, and it will be like there will be someone that would have walked and his or her legs will be dirty with the mud. I would clean it. And even my husband, he changed. He was always angry at all the times. One night he confronted me. He said that he had a dream and he had seen everything that had happened to his girlfriend. I pretended as if I did not know anything. He said that he was going to inform his family. He was going to bring his family from the Eastern Cape so that we can have a meeting. And I said, what meeting are you talking about? He then said that he had been told by the spirit of his girlfriend that I was the one that had done some rituals, and somewhere in the house there were some dolls which I was using in our marriage, one which represented his heart and the other one which represented my heart. Everything had been revealed to him in his dream. I felt my heart banging in my chest, for he had seen everything in that dream of his. Even though I refused, I rebuked him and I said, I will never ever visit a traditional healer. I rushed back to that same traditional healer and I told the healer that this was what was about to happen. My husband had given me only a couple of days to confess, otherwise he was going to call a family meeting. That healer then said, we have no choice, you have to join Satanism. The healer then told me that even though he was assisting other sangomas in South Africa and he was supposed to return back to DRC, but he was part of an occult group. They were Satanist, and most of the people did not know this. He said, my daughter, there is no time for us to communicate with the ancestors because they will take a long time to help you. Let us speak with the devil directly. People might say that maybe it is because I was scared, but my brother, I did this because I wanted to. I wanted to save myself, even though I knew that I was about to be initiated into the satanic kingdom. I said, what am I supposed to do? Then that man brought a small mirror. It is a small black mirror that is handheld, and he gave it to me and he said, I want you to take this, buy a red garment, and when you would have bought a red garment, buy milk. You are going to bath yourself with the milk, and you are going to wash the red garment as well with milk. You are going to stand in your bedroom just wearing that red garment. Underneath, you will be wearing nothing. When your husband is fast asleep, you take a needle, and this will be after you would have burnt the needle. And then when it is cold, you take it and you look at your husband and you start stabbing the mirror, saying whatever that you want. I then returned back and I bought all the items that I had been told to buy. I was thinking about what I wanted to do, but my husband, he brought all of this on himself. The moment that I arrived at home, he started shouting on top of his voice. He said, you are a witch, you are a witch. I know that you are a witch. So that night we were fighting. He slept in the bedroom and I was in the living room. When I saw that my husband was fast asleep, I quickly went to the braai area and I lit some fire and I burnt the needle and I took it when it was cold, and I went to the bedroom. I had already washed the garment in the afternoon with milk, and it was dry and smelly. It was smelling milk, and I bathed myself with the milk. All the time my husband, he was fast asleep. He would twist and turn in his sleep as he was dreaming. I then undressed myself and I wore that red garment. I stood in the middle of the bedroom whilst I was looking at my husband. I did not care anymore if he was going to die or not, or going to see me that I was using charms on him. I then whispered and I said, "You are going to die. You are not going to expose me," as I was busy stabbing that black mirror, and it disappeared. My husband, he died. He collapsed after a couple of days before he had summoned his family from the Eastern Cape so that he can embarrass me. And we buried him in the Eastern Cape. After the funeral, my house was so empty. I felt empty at all the times. These were the loneliest years of my life, 2009 to 2011, after my husband's death. I then started having this other man that was working for me, the Malawian guy. This gardener, he came into my life as my employee, and I fell in love with him. I used Corobella, a love charm, on him to dominate him so that he can stay with me, because I was afraid that he was going to leave me. I had no intentions at first to kill him, but I found him on top of my cousin's sister. That was painful. And then I used charms on him. He passed away, as well as my cousin's sister. She had to die, for she knew that it was I that had killed my own husband. My Malawian husband, because we were legally married, his stomach started hurting and he had cancer. He deteriorated really fast. And then I dated another man. Now I am dating a Ben 10. This young man, I love him with all of my heart. He do things to me that makes me to feel as if I am young again. But the challenge that I am facing is that I am suspecting that he will end up using my money to sleep around with girls of his age. I wish and I pray for him that he will never betray me, because once he betray me, you will know that I am a she-devil self. Because what he does not know is that in my bedroom there is a grave that is there, and inside this small coffin there is a human hand that is always fresh at all the times. After my Malawian man cheated on me, he got buried here in South Africa. I made some plans, and at the mortuary I paid them some money and they cut off his hand. Since I was the only one that was going to be doing the body viewing, because he had no relatives, there was only 2 of his friends that were there at the burial, but they did not participate in the body viewing because they said that they were afraid to do so, since there was no one that was present who was related to him by blood. So they did not see him during the body viewing at the mortuary. So straight from the mortuary, I did not bring him to my house. The hand that once belonged to him, we left it at the mortuary, but none of those Malawians guys knew that this was what had been done. It stayed in the mortuary. In the meantime, I hired another guy whom I used charms on. He did not even see what was happening. I told him to dig a hole until he had reached the foundation of my house. And when he had reached the foundation, I told him to dig a little bit bigger hole. I had a small coffin that I had someone make for me, and I collected the human hand that once belonged to my husband, put it in that coffin. At night, I then put it into that hole. I mixed some cement. Yes, I did this on my own, and I covered that place. And when I saw that the concrete had dried up, I then called those same guys. They came and they put some tiles which were brand new in my bedroom. So my Ben 10, he does not know that this is what is buried underneath my bed. Your dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped with the translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo.